Welcome to the Moodle plugin StudentQuiz tutorial for trainers. Students like questions to prepare for exams. However, it's hard to provide the bulk of questions for all the many self-assessments and exams. That's where the Moodle plugin StudentQuiz comes in. The basic idea is to put students into the driver's seat. With StudentQuiz they can create their own question pools, thus making Moodle course content more student-driven. StudentQuiz enables students to collaboratively create their own question pools within Moodle. Even if an individual student contributes just a few questions, a larger cohort could easily build up an extensive question pool. StudentQuiz fosters collaboration. Students can rate and comment on questions so that content improves through crowd intelligence. StudentQuiz collects usage data for each question and ranks students based on the number of created questions and correct answers. This can be done anonymously or with names displayed. The created questions become part of the Moodle question bank and can be reused in other Moodle quizzes. StudentQuiz was developed at the University of Applied Sciences Rapperswil in Switzerland, is open source, and can be downloaded at the official Moodle plugin directory. Let's see how StudentQuiz works. I'm using the server studentquiz.hsr.ch. I'm logged in as trainer in this StudentQuiz demo course. By the way, this course collects all the resources around StudentQuiz and you can access as guest. Creating a StudentQuiz is just the normal procedure of adding an activity. You click Turn Edit On. In this case here within the section StudentQuiz Sandbox, I add an activity. I pick StudentQuiz from the list. Of course, the plugin StudentQuiz needs to be installed first. I assign a name to my StudentQuiz activity. I call it Demo StudentQuiz. Please pay attention to advanced settings. By default, the student anonymizer is turned on so that student names are displayed to trainers only. Rating and commenting is turned on by default as well. This allows students to rate and to comment questions while working their way through the questions. Click Save and Display. We are now inside the StudentQuiz activity. Of course it's empty and the only option is to add a first question. This could be done by a student or trainer. Let's provide a first question. For this demo I pick a simple true-false question. I like to ask something about StudentQuiz collaboration. And this is my question text. StudentQuiz enables students to collaboratively create their own question pools. Is this statement true or false? I hope you agree that this is true. And to make StudentQuiz better searchable, I like to add some text. So this question is about StudentQuiz and it's also about collaboration, and I save this question. Our StudentQuiz activity looks different now. The new question is listed in the content area, but since it was never answered, there are no ratings or measures yet. Remember, I'm enrolled as trainer. Let's now see the student's perspective. Here I log in as student, go into our demo StudentQuiz activity. I see this question from the trainer listed, but since I'm a student now, the author is anonymized. I can also add another question. I pick again a true-false question and I like to ask something about StudentQuiz origin. And my question text is: StudentQuiz was developed at the University of Applied Sciences, Rapperswil. Is this statement true or false? And again, this is true. And again, I add some text. This is about StudentQuiz and this is about origin. Now we see the second question listed. My own question as a student, because this belongs to me, I can edit preview deletes this question, I cannot do so with question of others. Let's change to the trainer's view again. After a refresh of the screen, the trainer has the same view, sees both questions, but the trainer sees also the name of the authors. So this one was from our demo student. Many trainers will already have sets of questions available. StudentQuiz allows to import these questions in a variety of Moodle question formats. To do so, I click in the menu on Import, and in this case I have a Moodle XML format file with some prepared sample question which I import now. As a trainer, you might not always agree with questions found in StudentQuiz. Some questions might be confusing or provide wrong answers. That's why we added an approved flag. This way a trainer can signal that he or she agrees with a particular question. Let's do this now with a new question from our student. For this, I click here on this approved flag and I confirm that I want to approve this question. The question is now checkmarked with this green check mark, and a notification mail is sent to the student to inform about this approval. If I change my mind and disagree with the question, I can click this approved flag again, and now I disapprove, which again causes another notification mail sent to our student. There's also a bulk approval. Since most of these questions come from my own trusted source, I can approve all of them at once. Here I select all questions but the student question, and I click on this approve button, and in this case I can approve all these questions at once. And all of them but the student ones are checkmarked now. Let's now change to student view again. Students see which questions were approved by the trainer. The list of questions can become very extensive. That's why we need to filter. I expand the filter. You can filter by rating, by difficulty, by tags, or there are even more criteria: how many attempts were made, how many comments. And there is full text search for question title and question content. I could select my own questions or only those that are approved or within a certain time range. And of course these filters can be combined. I don't want to use a filter here, and would like to express that even with filtering, the list of questions can become rather long, and that's why we enable users to select particular questions by using this select checkmark. And here, in order to create a quiz, I like to pick some questions, HSR location and student quiz features, and of course my own one. I'm here as a student. I like to pick my own question. So I created now a quiz of 3 questions and I like to run it. I'm now in Moodle quiz mode and I start the quiz, and the first question: the University of Applied Science Rapperswil is located at, and this is Lake Zurich, and let's see whether this is true. I click on check, and of course it's true, but I'm kind of disappointed because this has not much to do with StudentQuiz, so I like to go ahead. I cannot. I'm forced now to rate this question. That was a larger discussion, and we decided that the very first time a user answers a question is the best time to collect his rating. So I give it only 1 star here. I add, this question has little to do with StudentQuiz, and I add this comment. I move on to the next question. Which of the following statements describes StudentQuiz correctly? Questions created become part of the Moodle question bank. This is true. Trainers can switch on and off the giving and rating of comments to questions. This is also true. Student StudentQuiz provides a separate plugin for student ranking. This is tricky because the separate plugin is about rating and commenting. So this is not true. StudentQuiz can optionally make author identities anonymous to students. This is true. Questions can always be filtered based on author names is not true because if the StudentQuiz runs anonymously, you don't even know the author names. And StudentQuiz was tested on older versions of Moodle. This is not true. We tested it from 3.0 to 3.3. This should be the right answer, but I like to click this one because this can easily be mistaken, and I like to have a partly right answer. Check. And you see, so here I made a mistake. Still, I like the question. I give it 4 stars and I move on to the next question. Please see the navigation here. The first question is green. It was properly answered. The second one is just yellow. And now the last one, StudentQuiz was developed at University of Applied Sciences, Rapperswil. Now this is my own question, which I like to answer in the wrong way, to see also a red here. However, it's so I give it 5 stars and I finish my StudentQuiz. I'm now in this review. I can review all my questions, my answers. This looks very much like a Moodle quiz. However, you see it includes ratings, it includes comments, so this makes it different to Moodle quiz. Let's see the StudentQuiz overview again. Now we have some data collected. The 3 questions, HSR location, this was rated with 1 star. The other question with 4 and with 5 stars. This will be the average of all students rating questions. The difficulty runs from 0, which means everybody answered in a proper way, up to 1, everybody answered incorrectly. The number of attempts made to this question, and here we have 1 with a left comment. StudentQuiz also uses gamification by measuring students' performance based on their questions and answers. Here in the navigation, a student can click on rank, and then he sees his or her position within the rank of others. And by default, there are the following points assigned: 10 points for each question created, plus the average number of stars received for each question multiplied by 3, plus 2 points for each correct answer given. So to calculate this 27 for our student, remember we created 1 question that gave us 10 points. We rated this question with 5 stars, so 5 times 3, that is another 15 points. And there was only 1 question that we answered correctly. This gives us another 2 points, makes 27. There's also statistics where we can see our own performance again. So far we only answered 1 question correctly and we contributed 1 question. And here we can access, or we can see all the quizzes that we have ever done in this student quiz activity. And we can also review these quizzes and go through it again. Just to show you how to configure that point system, here as admin, I go to plugins, overview, and to this student quiz settings. Here are the points assigned to create a quiz, for creation of a question, the multiplier for each star received, and for correct answers. You might also want to apply a penalty for wrong answers, which is not our default. Let's have a last view on StudentQuiz from the trainer's perspective. The trainer also has ranks, the student names, and there are also statistics. He or she sees her own performance plus the performance of all the students enrolled in this course. Now, questions collected in StudentQuiz can be reused just as ordinary Moodle questions. We saw import already. We can now export these questions into different Moodle question formats, or we just create categories in our Moodle question base, and then we can select certain question here and we move it into whatever category created. And then we can, of course, from there reuse those questions in just ordinary Moodle quizzes. Well, we hope that you and your students will find StudentQuiz helpful. Thank you very much for watching this video. Goodbye.